Can anyone see it there?
Yeah, live.
Yeah, it's
Live.
We're live. Okay, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Wednesday. It's 8:30, and as always, we are coming live to you through the Irish Rugby Banter Group via ruckthis.ie. You are all very welcome. So, good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to you all, and good evening, even, and welcome to you all, no matter where you're watching us from, no matter what part of the world you are watching us from, because we know, as you all know, we have members from all over. Joining me this evening are three familiar faces. We have Richard Holland, we have Mike Reedy, and we have Dave Sheedy. Gentlemen, are we well in ourselves? Oh, Dara Weston will be joining us, but as always, Dara is always late. He'll be late for his own fucking funeral, so we'll wait in anticipation of Dara's arrival. Gentlemen, are we all well in ourselves?
All good, Pete.
Great.
All good.
All good, John.
Yeah. I think Dara's still jerking off to his Brian O'Driscoll mag.
I beg your pardon.
Oh, Jesus Christ almighty. Dave Sheedy, not a man to shy away from controversy, be it text or a comment on line on here. So, folks, you know what you're getting.
Live telly.
Mercy.
On live telly. There you go.
Live.
Right. Now,
we apologize for any bad language just being used.
Fuck that shit we do now.
That's what they do. That's what they do over here. That's what they do here.
Megan Augusta, how are you, Megan?
Megan.
Keeping well. Now, gentlemen, let's just get these games that happened last weekend out of the way, and then we move on to the more important stuff, which you all know because you've got the list. The games last weekend, Richard Holland. Let's start in the order that they happened. We had Sharks at home to Munster. Sharks winning that 41-24. I don't want to spend too much time on these because we've loads to talk about. Richard, if you saw that game, what did you think of
it? Poor. That's the only way to describe it. They were poor. They never really got going. They were just sixes and sevens in every position, not just. It was The only highlight, and I'd say it because I like him, is Tom Ahern getting his try. I thought that was a great try, but that was the only highlight for me in that match.
I like him as a player.
Yeah, so do I. I think he's
and he's a good player. Okay, thanks, Richard. Mike Reedy, what did you make of that game?
Well, do you know, if you had offered me a bonus point prior to kickoff, I would have taken it. So Munster came over with a try-scoring bonus point. They scored 4 tries, lads, but the defence was absolutely abysmal. They fucking went through them like a dose of salt. It was embarrassing. But I don't know what's happened there. Obviously, there's been not a fallout from it. So it was poor. It was poor but Munster probably, have been the most successful touring side going to South Africa since they've been allowed into the URC, and it wasn't to be this time on this occasion. So they weren't good enough, lads. But if you offered, the Sharks had 10 Springboks playing for them, so there's not an awful lot more you can expect from a game like that.
Well, we all said, Mike, the previous week when we were previewing the game, and Dave Sheedy, you said the same. You said it as well. This was always going to be a tough ask for Munster, Mike. And I don't think the result shocked anyone really.
No, I think the nature of it, though, Peter, 40 odd by, what was it, 40 or 42 or something?
41-24.
41.
Yeah.
I mean, and Munster didn't convert their tries either, 2 of their tries, probably didn't have a day off the tee. But I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Claire Devney and Megan are having a chat. Gregor Galway, hi Gregor, is on his laptop. Megan is there replying to Claire. Okay, the Rantmaster 2000 with the Go Faster stripes on the side of it about anything bad about Munster. Dave Sheedy, ladies and gentlemen, Dave Sheedy. If you haven't heard Dave already, be prepared. Be prepared. Dave Sheedy, Briefly now, look, briefly.
I will. I'll be brief.
Yeah,
Because
go on.
anything I had to say after the game on Saturday has been completely undone by the events of yesterday. But say they didn't happen, it's more the same. It's just the brand of rugby that they're playing in attack and defence is not good enough. But even during the game, I think is it Jamie O'Donoghue or something put up a comment on the thread that we have up, and me and him were talking back and forth. Like the players just didn't look interested. Did not look interested. You know, like I mean, look. My first game for Mary's, I threw 2 intercept passes. My second game, I absolutely leveled their number 8 because I was so pissed off and letting down my team my first game of rugby. And, you know, the basics like tackling, like falling off tackles. Like, I mean, you don't need coaching to know when to hit a guy and how to hit him and stuff like that. It's just, they were not interested. Something obviously happened, but it was just more of the same that we saw from the Zebra game. They tried to sugarcoat it with the bad conditions against the Ospreys, but the Ospreys dominated the second half. You know, then the Leinster game, then, you know, Stormers and this. Like, my father made a good point there the other night. It's not as if Munster haven't got much ball to play with. They've had plenty ball. They've had plenty of opportunities to win these games, and they just haven't. Now, there has to be some responsibility on the players. Has to be some. And like Ethan Coughlin came on and he was twice as good as Casey.
Yeah.
You know, and don't get me wrong, I'm trying my best to warm to Casey. I just don't like his attitude, but he is a good player. But Coughlin was better than him when he came on. He had more awareness and sharpness about him. There just seems to be something in the players where they're just, obviously with the events that's gone on, they just weren't into turning up, like, you know.
Okay, we'll obviously we will be coming on to that. Okay, Dave, back around to you. Leinster were at home to the Lions. Leinster 24, Lions 6. Leinster didn't have it all their own way. Let's put it like that.
I really wanted to watch that game because Sam Prendergast was starting, and I didn't get a chance because I was dragged off to a fucking birthday party. I apologize, but I am going to watch that either tonight or tomorrow because I want to see what Prendergast is actually like. It's no point talking about him if you don't see him play.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Mike Reedy, did you see that game?
I did, yeah, I did.
Would you agree with my short assessment that Leinster didn't have it all their own way?
Absolutely, they didn't have it all their own way, and it surprised me, to be honest with you, because that Lions team are not good. I watched them play. I watched them play Zebra the week before, and it was 10-9 scoreline. And I watched the full game. I don't know how I stayed watching it, but I did anyway. And it was in really bad conditions. But and I thought the Lions were off. Now everybody's gone on about them. They were the only other big team in it and all that. They've had an easy run in. They've had 2 home games in South Africa. They've been away to Zebra and away to Ospreys, or no, even Dragons, or one of the other Welsh sides. And they came up against Leinster then, and they came up short. Like, you know, and Leinster should have dominated that game more, in my opinion. But they got the job done. They got a bonus point, or did they get a bonus point, Ben? They didn't.
No.
24 points. It surprised me, to be honest with you, that they didn't. But Sam Prendergast did well. He did fine. He did absolutely fine.
He did what was expected of him.
He's a very, very good player. I think as soon as young was it Fintan Gunn came on later on the second half, and he made a difference. I thought Luke McGrath had a poor outing. And you know what's becoming a serious concern now? Scrummaging for all Irish teams, particularly Leinster now, and that's the Irish front row we're talking about here.
Okay, we'll come on to that, Mike. We'll come on to that. No, you're shooting off in tangents as you do sometimes. Right, hold on 1 sec. We'll talk about that. Richard Holland, that particular game, Leinster 24, Lions 6.
Leinster just they were never going to lose it, but it wasn't a great game of rugby. It was very stop-start.
It was.
Yeah. But Leinster done what they needed to do. We were wanting to get Prendergast game time, and we've done that. So from that point of view, from a Leinster point of view and an Ireland point of view, it's good. But it wasn't a game for the ages.
No, you're quite right, Richard. I totally agree with you. Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Just a few comments. Joe Lyons, evening. Hi, Joe. Always good to have you with us. Claire Devney, Megan, Claire, seriously, can you have this private conversation? You can message each other. Go on, go for it. Christopher Goff, hi Christopher. Christopher Goff, hi all. Bit late, but here now. Oh, here's Dara. Look. Thanks, Dara.
Sorry, I was changing a letterbox for an old person, so some little fucker put a banger in my neighbour's letterbox. She's 83, and it blew the front off her letterbox, so I had to go up to Woody's and get a replacement one and fit it for her.
Jesus.
She was worried about
I hate this fucking.
Right, Jiz, you're a caring neighbour, by the
way. Megan, Claire, definitely pissed myself laughing. Hope you feel better soon. Christopher Goff. Hi, Jesus Christ, will you all fucking get onto our WhatsApp group or something like that? Joe Lyons, to put our performance into context, that Lions team have scored the most tries in URC, and the whole game plan is based off a rush defence, which is what we're developing. So Leinster did an excellent job in keeping them out and blanked them in the second half. All right, okay. Right, Dara Weston, we had the first two games. We won't go back on them because we've loads to talk about. But I will come to you on this one. Connacht 31, Dragon 7. No huge surprise there, really, Dara?
No. Yeah, it's it was a great game by Connacht. Yeah, it's I only saw bits of it now, but
Dara's gone, is he?
Dara gone, is he? Okay,
Dave. Must be another banger in the letterbox.
Yeah, it must be oh, hold on. Oh, he'll come back in when he'll come back. Hold on. Right, okay, he's not come back in. So, Dave Sheedy, go ahead. Cardiff or Connacht 31, Dragon 7.
Didn't see the game at all, lads. I'm sorry, I'm useless. The only game I focused on was Munster, and it's just been killing me since.
All right, grand job. Dara West, you're back. Back to you. Go on, finish your Connacht 31, Dragon 7.
I hadn't much more to say really, other than it was a great performance by Connacht. So
yeah, I think we said it the week previous that it would be a good day. I think Richard, your words were it'd be a good day in the sports ground for Connacht.
Yeah,
how right you were, Mike Reedy. Did you see that game?
I watched the first half of that, and then I watched the second half of the Ulster game, which was not a good plan because Connacht played. Connacht played very, very well from what I saw, and I saw the tries they scored the second half as well. And I did predict that they would have a bonus point win, and I love watching Connacht play, to be honest. I think they play a lovely brand of rugby. But
do you think so?
I do, yeah. I do. I think they play good.
I'd agree with that, yeah.
Nice. Go on, Richard. You're okay. Thanks, Mike. Go on, Richard.
We all said it was going to be not much more than a run out. To be honest, and that's what it proved to be. Connacht were never looked in danger, so yeah, job done. On to the next game.
Okay. Last game, and we just this was a fucking disaster for Ulster. We talk about games being of two halves. This was certainly one of them. Ulster butchering a 19-point lead to lose that game away to Cardiff, 21 points to 19. I was it was a cringe fest in the second 40. Richard Holland, we go back around the other way.
Yeah, look, it's unforgivable giving away a lead that, as to my knowledge, they didn't score in the second half, did they?
No. It was 19-0 at half time to Ulster.
Just absolutely criminal. Then it's unforgivable. Ulster's old problems are resurfacing. I think it happened, was it 2 years ago? It happened with Leinster down in the RDS, that they were 20 points up and ended up losing the game as well. So it's obviously come back to haunt them. But yeah, look, I'm disappointed but not surprised.
Right, okay. Mike Reedy, that particular game, it was just a fucking disaster.
I chose the wrong half to watch, unfortunately, from an Ulster point of view. I mean, Ulster done what was an Ulster fucking thing, a couple of years ago, or towards the end of what you call fucking tenure, like clawing defeat from the jaws of victory. They had the game. The game you have to win a game that you're leading 19 points to 0. at half time. You cannot lose a game, one of those games. It's not acceptable. Richie Murphy must have been pulling his hair out thinking, this is reality now, by the way. Reality gets kicked in, so the honeymoon period is over now, so there'll be ass kicked for that. That's not good enough. You cannot lose 19 point lead in any game.
Yeah, true.
Very true. And it's not as if they had any cards or anything like to facilitate that, like it was just a really, really poor performance in the second half.
Yeah, true. Scarood Two-Tone, I know your real name because I've had you on the chat today when we were doing that. Evening all, Scarood, Len. Gregor Galway, to put it simply, what is Gregor talking about? Game of two halves, yes, absolutely. Joe Lyons, imagine giving up a 19-point lead. Ha ha ha. Oh shit, wait, delete that comment. Ha ha. Okay, very good, Joe. Well done. Yeah. Joe's on the cans a bit early tonight. Dave Sheehy, go ahead.
Go on to Weston there. I'm useless with anything other than the Munster game because it's just.
Oh my god!
It's taken up my whole 3 weeks.
Dara Weston. Okay, Dara Weston. Did you see that? Did you see the Ulster game?
I saw bits of it.
Right.
Yeah, I was beginning to wonder, had Richie stayed at home? Was McFarlane back in charge or something? I mean, we were starting to see green shoots of, kind of like Richie's plan settling in. And even though they didn't get wins in South Africa, there was certainly positives out of the games they had. And then sure, last week Stockdale got his hat trick and one of them was disallowed, and it was like, Ulster for the Heineken Cup again. And then just to throw it away. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, just as Mike said, to snatch defeat out of the jaws of victory, like literally, you have to wonder what went on. But look, I think the honeymoon period is officially over for Richie anyway now. After that performance.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, there's Megan Augusta. Kind of echoing what you were saying there, Dara, about the performance. I really thought Ulster had it first half. It was brilliant. In the second half, it was like they didn't even come back on the field. Reminded her of the McFarland crap. Yes, Megan.
Performances like that, lads, is that not down to the players?
100% it is. 100%.
We're ahead. We don't need to try anymore. I mean, Leinster did it against Munster. Munster been.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Hold on. What's that? We want to just give up on the games. We've talked about it. Just comments coming in here. Sorry, gentlemen. James Eric Henry McCorkle, as always. I love that name. Second Earl of whoever. I don't know where it is, but it's a brilliant name. Fecking cringe and then some. Yes, very true, James.
Yeah.
Megan Augusta. I think they thought great were 19 up and don't need to play well in the second half, but they were quickly humbled. Correct. Joe Lyons, Dave, are you over Croker yet?
No.
Don't mention the war.
No.
Okay. Kieran Ryan. Hi, Kieran. How are you? Don't agree with what happened to Rowntree. Injuries have killed us. Okay, we're coming on to that, Kieran. Just hold on 1 second. But I'll read out your point. Can I ask what you think? Did winning the URC put extra pressure on Rowntree? Did we expect too much? When we won the URC, injured players come back at a perfect time, and then we had some luck along the way. Okay. Now, gentlemen, let me start with I'll go the clockwise way, so the three Munster gentlemen start first. We'll go into we'll put flesh on the bones, but your initial reaction, Richard, when you heard Graham Rowntree had parted ways with Munster and the IRFU?
Shocked. There was no other way to describe it other than shocked, because it was a bolt out of the blue. Granted, there were three games losing streak, but it still came out of nowhere. Munster are not a bad team, and injuries have hurt them. There's no doubt on that, in particular in the front row. But to see him go like that was just out of the blue. Was completely shocked.
Okay, we'll go into the details after this, but I just want, Mike, really, your initial reaction to when you heard Rowntree had
like Richard, I was very, very surprised. I mean, it's un-rugby-esque even, not just un Munster-esque to sack a coach. Lads, there's a lot more to this than has been than has come forth so far. There has to be. That doesn't
Okay,
happen.
we'll explore that. But your initial reaction, I think
the reaction is
everyone's
I'm really, really surprised. Like, you know, I wasn't expecting it at all. Not at all.
Yeah. Okay,
I don't
Dave
think anybody
Sheedy.
was.
No, geez, you're right about that, Mike. Dave Sheedy, your initial reaction. What did you think?
After the game on Saturday, my father came in. He said, "What do you think of that?" And I said, "The last time I saw Munster playing that bad, the following week, Anthony Foley had died, and you know, I was kind of sitting there like just couldn't understand why the players weren't playing. And then Rowntree's gone. Massive shock, man. Massive, absolutely massive. I still can't get over it because, like, what the fuck are the branch doing, man? You know, what are they doing?
We'll come on to that. We'll come on to that.
I know.
Yeah. I know you're fucking rant master 2000. You're dying to fucking go. You're dying to. Right, hold on. All right, hold on. Okay, hold on. Dara Weston, your initial reaction when you heard Rowntree was gone?
Disappointed. I haven't been that disappointed since I opened a packet of Rowntree's Rolos and found there was only 2 in it. Probably the most successful Munster coach of recent years. Like, he brought them their first trophy in 12 years. He was incredibly passionate. You could tell, like, I always loved his interviews after the game. He got so annoyed if they hadn't performed, or, you know, he just wore his heart in his sleeve. So disappointment and kind of just incredulity to, like, just couldn't believe that, you know, European games haven't even started. We're only 6 games into a season. The only real massive shock loss Munster had so far this season was Zebre, who really played out. You know, the South African games can always be iffy, and the Leinster game was always going to be, you know, great, or, you know, was always going to be a bit squeaky bum. So, yeah, I just couldn't understand it.
Okay. Okay, let's get into some of the reaction, the online reaction. And we'll get into this a bit further. Richard Holland, I'll come to you first on this. On the Munster Rugby supporters, the official supporters page, there was loads. I just picked out 2. And this is what they said. I don't know how much credence you'd give these comments or whatever. Just your thoughts on them, right? A woman called Stacey Hurrigan, I can say her full name because it's for everyone to see on the Munster Sports page. She says, it's a big loss for Munster. No matter who is brought in to replace him, it's not going to change anything until the IRFU back off and allow Munster to make decisions themselves. The IRFU seem to micromanage the provinces. Munster are only allowed to sign players that have been handpicked by the IRFU. They have struggled in the front row for years, as you keep going on about, Richard, and you're right. And anyone they have tried to sign has been blocked by the IRFU. One comment. Second comment. Now, there's 3, so I'll go through these quickly. Francis O'Connor, why make Rowntree the scapegoat for the bad results to date? This seems a very hasty decision, or did Rowntree feel his hands were tied over recruitment this season? Hasn't he been trying to bring in a prop on a short-term signing? Maybe this was blocked by the board and he felt he can't continue. Mutual decision, face, whom emoji even. Another really sad day for our club. And last one, few, if any coaches, this from Patricia replying to a tweet, few, if any coaches in rugby were a better cultural fit for their team than Graham Rowntree was for Munster. Stunned, shocked, reeling, mourning right now. This was absolutely not how this story was supposed to go. Richard.
Yeah.
Could you not find a post that blamed Leinster?
No.
Shut up, Weston.
There wasn't one comment about how it's Leinster's fault.
No. Go on, Richard. There
probably is a little bit to our hands been tied in terms of signing players. We got a player we didn't really want in the off season. To be quite honest, you talk to any Munster player and you know who I'm talking about, that we didn't want them from the get go.
Billy Burns.
Yeah. We need props. Yeah, Billy Burns.
Yeah.
We need props, and we weren't either allowed or weren't able to sign him. You look at, you had a 36-year-old on one side and a 39-year-old, I think he was, on the other side of the scrum, expected to play 70 minutes. It's absolutely crazy, fucking mental, like. But it's something that's been going on. It's a problem for Munster for the last 10 years up front. It's ongoing, and there doesn't seem to be an end to it. There's a couple of young lads maybe coming through. Even if one of them makes it, you're still not going to have enough cover there. So it's catch-22.
Yeah, but would you agree with one of the points there that that the IRFU micromanaged the provinces? Is there any truth? I don't think there's any truth.
No, I don't think so. I actually don't. I know there was signings blocked, but that's because they were going over their wage. With the wage structure, it would have made bits of the wage structure, and that's why they were blocked. And you can understand, end of the day, the provinces and the IRFU are a business, and they need to make a profit. That's the long and the short of it.
Yeah, I think some people miss that an awful lot of times. Okay, thanks, Richard. Mike Reedy, your thoughts on this? The comments that were said.
The micromanaging.
Listen, just the whole thing. We're getting into the details of what could have possibly made Rowntree walk away or leave or whatever.
I don't think we're going to have. We've seen at all what the reason for this is, because that came out of the blue, and there was no talk whatsoever from anywhere in rugby that Rowntree's job was under scrutiny. There's something major has happened on that South African tour, and it will be revealed, I'm sure, in the coming days or whenever, or maybe it won't. But there's no chance it's nothing to do with the start of the season. Like Dara just said, the only real surprising result was the Zebra result. I'm not shocked by any of the other three losing away games. I mean, it was a tough start to the season to have to play Leinster away and then followed by two South African away games, and they're not bum South African teams like the Sharks and the Stormers. So I'm not surprised by those, and I don't think the results or the start of the season has had any bearing on what's happened there. And I'm not sure I'll give much credence to the micromanaging either. The IRFU have an input, and they invest heavily in all four provinces. And I don't contribute to this theory that there's favouritism either. You know, there may be. I mean, Leinster do get a fair crack in the whip, but they're fighting the majority of the national team. So fair is fair. Now, I will say, I don't approve of the signings, the foreign signings Leinster. I'm not going to make. You all know how I feel about that. And I think Slimani is a fucking complete waste of money and a waste of time. He's got to do absolutely nothing for Leinster. Now, Munster.
What are you going to Leinster for? We're talking about Munster.
No, I'm getting back to that. Leinster were.
Oh, are you doing a Donald Trump weave? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but Munster needed props. Lads, they had to play John Ryan at fucking loose head. Like, he's a tight head. He's played his whole career at tight head. They had to play him to start the game at loose head on Saturday. It's fucking embarrassing, you know. And they hadn't got it. It was either that or a young boy from the academy that was coming in to for the last 5 or 10 minutes, and but they've been unfortunate with the actual players that they've lost through injury, but they'll be okay. Munster will be okay. They're not going to be not overly concerned by it at all. They've had bad starts to the last 2 seasons prior to this, and they've ended up in the semi-finals at least on both occasions.
Okay, Dave Sheedy, your thoughts on the comments that were made and the reasoning behind. Go on, I know you're itching to fucking go, and we're on half an hour here.
I'm not itching to go because there's so many speculative points that we can bring up. Like, I mean, reading the comments like yourself, there's people blaming the IRFU, there's people blaming Leinster, I don't know fucking why. There's people blaming injuries, but the truth is, before that Leinster game, only Ollie Jaeger and Peter O'Mahony were the only 2 first-team starters that were injured. There was no one else. They're all first-team players. Like, if like Richie said, there's a problem with props, why is it an issue now? Why wasn't it an issue 5 years ago? Because Archer and Ryan were starting 5 years ago. Like Scott Buckley played against Wasps and played a feckin' brilliant game in that Heineken Cup where Costello had to take over, and we've barely seen him since. You know, so like there doesn't seem to be stuff coming through. Look, for me, there's been a problem in Munster since Tony McGahan took over, because I only went through it there on Wikipedia to see how long everyone stayed. Like McGahan was blackguarded, Rob Penny was blackguarded, and then they started promoting assistant coaches to head coaches like Foley. Then they brought in Van Gran. He wasn't a head coach when he was brought in. And then Roundtree wasn't a head coach and he was given the position. I was a little skeptical of Roundtree taking a head coach position, but there was no one else and he had enough experience to be a head coach. And I still think he is a good head coach. And I still think a lot of people in Munster are absolutely furious with Roundtree being the scapegoat, because we all know he's a good old school guy. He's good at his rugby. He's proved it on Lions tours. He's proved it with England. He knows what he's doing. So this goes down to the Munster brass, man, the top brass. Paul O'Connell, when he signed for Toulon, I heard over the grapevine that he'd never go near Munster again until the top brass was dissected from top to bottom. Now, that's telling you something. You know, there's something really, really rotten there. And like people are saying about Felix Jones coming in and Flannery and all these people, they're not head coaches, lads. Like Felix Jones is not the personality for people.
We'll come on to that, Dave. But I will say one thing: there was people calling for the CEO Ian Flanagan to be got rid of.
Yeah. I just remember back in the days of Gareth Fitz and the crap signings he made with the like what Richie was saying. Burns was brought in. History repeats itself, lads. We had Ian Keatley and we didn't want him. And from what I heard, Foley was forced to play him because there was a review. And Quinny was talking yesterday about Ian Costello doing a review. There was a review back then, and the results were leaked, and it was made public within the Munster organisation. And Keatley got slated. So apparently from that, he had them by the balls, so he had to be played. Now, look, just there seems to be a continuing history of bad player signings. Like, I mean, we went for John Klein over Snyman. When John Klein hasn't done more than 50 minutes, he's sluggish, he's slow. Why didn't we keep... You know, Sean O'Brien is a tough lad, but he's not a great winger. He's not a winger. He hasn't got the pace for a wing. Maybe a centre. Like
he's a centre to me. Yeah, I'd be
trying
to pay him at
12. Yeah, I play him at 12 because
he's a 12. He's a 12. He's a 12.
But because he can't like get the pace out to make the tackles at 13. Whereas Nankiville's much better 12. So why was the point of buying Sean O'Brien except for league games? It's just the decision making that's been going on in Munster the last 10, 12 years has just been awful.
So Dave, would you have, to use an American political phrase, because I follow American politics closely, would you, to use one of those phrases, would you clean the swamp in Munster?
If Paul O'Connell said that before he signed for Toulon, I'm with Paul O'Connell on that. There obviously needs to be a clean out somewhere in the top brass, because this is going on years now. I mean, and every Munster supporter can feel it. We're there, but we're not thereabouts. Whereas before, it's not the results; it's the way we're playing, the attitude. You can see, you can read it in players, and like there was obviously talk about in-house fighting with O'Mahony and Roundtree. We don't know how true that is. But I really hope this time. Last thing I'll say, I really hope this time the truth actually comes out. Because I
doubt that, Dave. I doubt the complete truth will ever come out.
But we deserve it as supporters, man. We really do.
Of course you do, because you're paying their wages, you're paying their everything. You know, Dara Weston, your thoughts on the background?
Even if you had Mulder and Scully, you'd never get the truth. The truth will go through the regional blazers up to the IRFU blazers, out to the press officer, and there'd be some really watered down version will end up coming out. We'll never know what happened behind it. From what Mike was saying about there's more to it. Jesus, he'd want to have killed somebody over in South Africa to basically be fired the day he got back, the minute he hopped off the plane. So I don't know about that. I saw a lot of people saying, making comments. I wasn't brave enough to go on the Munster supporters forum, but on even just the Irish forums. Oh, it's the IRFU. They don't want Munster to succeed. That's why they wouldn't cap Frisch. To be honest, I don't know if Frisch actually wanted an Irish cap. I think he played it a bit so he could get to force France's hand to cap him. So
he wasn't
we'll see what
enough,
happens
Darren.
there.
It's just rubbish. Frisch, he's not good enough.
Yeah,
he never was.
But the whole thing of the IRFU, look, we're not back in the days when you can sign Dougie Howlett and a couple of South Africans like De Allende and Klein and Snyman, who nobody in Munster wanted Snyman, remember, until he came to Leinster and actually started playing games. In Munster, it was, as James Grennan used to say, he was, in for 1 week, out for 3. So I think maybe there was an element of, you'd had such top class players, been able to bring in such top class players for a long time, that then the IRFU kind of took control of the finances and kind of started saying, look, who you could and couldn't sign. And remember, as Peter said before, part of that is because the IRFU are rolling over the Thomond Park loan interest-free every year on their books.
Yeah.
So they're actually saving Munster Rugby from potential bankruptcy if that loan came due. So, I mean, all the provinces have to... We were very lucky in Leinster that we got Slimani in just before... We'd agreed it before Humphreys officially took over. So we were able to get him in. Other than that, we wouldn't have been able to get him. And we'd be stuck in the same position with having a lot of... relying on younger props coming through the academy, because we can't be trotting Cian Healy out for 80 minutes every match. And, when Porter and Furlong, and even now Healy going on international duty. But yeah, no, look, it's... I honestly don't know what happened, but I think every province has to take a certain element of instruction from the IRFU, because at the end of the day, the IRFU financially support the provinces, and they pay some of the big players' wages with central contracts.
Yeah, true.
So,
okay,
we're all stuck in that boat.
As with all these things, rumors are bound to come out. One of them that I saw that someone posted, I saw it on our own page, but it was one that I put into the group about Rowntree being pissed over in South Africa after the game. He was pissed when they landed. Folks, all I say to you is that very, 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 very small pinch of salt take with these things. I mean, not everything you read online. Not everything you read online is true.
No, hang on. Are they trying
to suggest
Are they trying to suggest he's an alcoholic?
No.
Like, there's no way he could have survived in England
allegedly,
Lions camp and not been a strong drinker.
No,
if it was allegedly, fair enough. Fair enough. 2 drinks in a barman's fart.
No, allegedly, Dave, there has been a rumor going around which I would lend no credence to at all. Right, but allegedly after the game, he got pissed. He had to be put to bed. He got up. He started drinking again. He was pissed when they landed and was met by Humphreys and someone else from the IRFU when they landed in Limerick or Cork, wherever it was. I'm just saying, folks, don't believe everything you read online.
You can tell because you can tell people who are like that, and he's not like that because he doesn't have the facial marks. I listened to his I don't think many people listen to it. I listened to his interview with the South Africans after the Sharks game. Wasn't interested. Just kept when Rowntree's talking, he looks right at the person, right at the camera. He was looking around and he was just waiting for him to say good luck, and he was gone out of there. The real shame in all this is we have a great exhibition match next weekend that is now absolutely ruined. It's absolutely ruined. I've been looking.
It's not ruined. It's sold out. It'll be enjoyed, but
it's not about that, Peter. Though it's not about being sold out. Like the sense of enjoyment is gone now because we're all going there going, oh fuck, how are they going to play and will they win and will they put out a performance and who the fuck is our coach now? That's all that's going through people's heads, like, because he was pushed, he didn't walk.
There was
to put it in perspective, you're the only province that gets to play the All Blacks. You know, so there's. Well, I know you don't have your coach, but at least you still fucking get to play the All Blacks. You know, so
I know, Darragh, but
the
still,
other thing I
it does
would
put a
say,
dampener on it, though. You know.
no, definitely, yeah, it takes a bit of the experience out of it.
It does.
The other thing I would say, you know, I've flown an awful lot for work. They were on a scheduled flight coming back to Munster, coming back to Shannon. I've seen people in first class being cut off when they're half cut. There's no way somebody drinks themselves into oblivion on a flight because the staff will not serve you.
Yeah.
Literally, you know, if you start getting really pissed, they'll just cut you off straight away. So that thing of him drinking until he got to Shannon. No.
Yeah. All right.
Unless he brought back cans on the plane.
I don't put any credence into that, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I would tend to agree. It's all alleged, by the way. But what I'm saying to people is don't believe everything you read online about what happened. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Richard Holland, the moving swiftly along, but on the same vein of topic, the individuals who have been mentioned to take over the position. We have, according to Paddy Power, Paul O'Connell is the favourite. I don't know. Felix. No, I can't see it either. Felix Jones, that'll cost a few quid. Jerry Flannery, Mike Prendergast, who I think will. Ron O'Gara.
Isn't he?
Yeah, Ron O'Gara, unlikely. Tyler Blayendal, unlikely. Dennis Leamy, don't know. Richard, and of that group, who would you reckon would be the
who would I like? I would like to see Paul O'Connell, but that's not going to happen. Felix Jones.
Realistically.
As far as I know, Jones's contract with IRFU till the end of 2025, so it cost a lot of money to buy him out of that.
Yeah.
Pendergast he's the only one that because he's already in situ. It was just a matter of dropping him in.
Yeah, I think he'll take over. All right.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, Mike Grady, your thoughts on the next coach? Albeit,
I would like to see Felix Jones get the job. I genuinely would, and I don't think he will either because he won't be bought out. And I know people have reservations about him not being a head coach. Fucking Graham Rowntree was never a head coach until he became head coach at Munster. Andy Farrell did 2 years at Saracens, then was a fucking assistant coach for the rest of his career until he got the head job at Ireland. So I'm not that concerned about the previous experience as a head coach. If you're never given the chance, nobody's ever going to know. I watched the documentary that South Africa did during the World Cup about, and I'll tell you one thing: Felix Jones's input was, from going by that documentary, was far more than Ninaber's. He was doing all the halftime speeches, like directions to players. I think he's input. I'm really, really impressed with him, and England were as well. South Africa would have him back in a heartbeat. Yeah. Every South African fan, as soon as he said he was jacking at England, come back, and I rate him very, very highly, and I think he's going to make a fantastic head coach wherever he gets a job.
Okay, thanks, Richard. Thanks, Mike. Excuse me. Now, before I come to you, Dave, one sec. Just a couple of comments there while I pick up myself. Mike Shady, bad luck has come to Munster like Halloween is in the Munster Rugby the last few weeks. Also, players, emojis. But this Saturday, Munster will win. They show the world never write off Munster Rugby. That should be your catchphrase, Mike. Never write off Munster Rugby. You know, but,
I think it is.
Good to have it. Good to have you with us, Mike. Good to have you with us, Ger Brennan. Hey, Ger. I was down in your neck of the woods today, Ger. By the way, I was down in the tie. I don't believe Rowntree walked not in his nature unless he's been disrespected or undermined. Have drifted too far from the parish culture that made them a great club they used to be and are now too business focused. Okay, very good. Screwed two-tone, Len. There has been something wrong for the last few weeks. It wasn't the results, but the manner in which we played. There was no team spirit there. Rowntree's departure was a shock, but in hindsight, it definitely looks like there was some form of dissent in the camp. Dave Sheedy, you kind of alluded to that. We went to shit after the Connacht game, regardless of injuries. Okay. Any more? Here's Len again. The Paddy Power odds are bollocks. They'll give it to Prendergast till the end of the season. Yes, I would agree with that. Christopher Goff, can't see Rog going Munster to Munster. He has plans with La Rochelle. Yeah, I don't think Raj will take it.
Yeah.
Speaking about, funny enough, reading that, I'll just read out for people who might not know. The current, I see Peter Manny isn't on this. He might be back. He might be back training and fit. But the Munster injury list is as such: Shane Daly, Jeremy Lockman, Alex Nankerville, Josh Wycherley, Mark Donnelly, Dave Kilcoyne, Ollie Yeager, Liam Coombs, Takir Abrahams, Patrick Campbell, Keane Hurley, Edwin Odogbo, who I like, Roman Salanoa. That's Munster's. Now, 80% of those players are starters. 70% are
Four of them are. Four of them are stars.
Who's the four?
Ollie Yeager, Nankerville.
Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I had 5, sorry. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. Go on, Dave. You say.
No, Ollie Yeager, Nankerville, who is Shane Daly and
Lockman.
Abraham. Abraham.
Abraham started.
I wouldn't class him
He
as a
started
starter.
every game up the game.
Dogbo's a good player. Would he be a starter?
No, he's in the team, but he's not a starter.
Yeah. I like him actually. I think he's a good player.
It's his first.
You'd like to have them all. You'd like to have them all available. You'd like to have them all available.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, obviously. All right. Anyway, done. Yeah. All right. Okay. We'll finish on the.
Hang on. Let me say.
Go on.
You gave it to Richie and you gave it to Thing.
Go on. Sorry, did I miss you out? Sorry, Dave.
You did, and you missed Dara as well.
Go on.
Look, the Felix Jones.
That's right. I was going the other way.
Yeah,
Sorry,
the Felix Jones issue. I've met Felix 2 or 3 times back in my rugby playing days. He's a lovely fella. He's good crack, sound, salt of the earth. I don't know if, as I said before, he's a people person. He's very good at what he does. With his video analysis and this, that, and the other. I just think he's still doing his apprenticeship. Like Leamy was under Lancaster for 1 year, and I was thinking, brilliant. Leamy's going to learn everything good from Lancaster. He's going to come to Munster then and bring all that knowledge with him. And he upped and legged it after a year, halfway through his apprenticeship. Like, what are you doing? You know, like, if you were to say who I want to see, I want Declan Kidney to be a director of rugby and just dissect, because, like, he doesn't take shit. He won't be blackguarded by anyone. You know, Kidney's been there. He's been through the Munster school system, the under-20, everything. I'd like to see him come in as the director of rugby, and then you can have Felix, you can have Flannery, you can have whoever you want as head coach. But if he is organising everything, because he's a teacher, he understands people management. Now, I wouldn't
have any problem with that, to be honest with you. I think that'd be a great.
Just to manage it, like what Leo has.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we have to listen to Mr. Burke always giving out about Leo Cullen not having a reaction, but that's what I want from my head coach. You know, Andy Farrell's the same. Cullen, they're just like, they're not getting overexcited, they're not getting underwhelmed, underexcited. It's just they're zen, you know, and that's what you want. Whereas, kind of with Roundtree over the last kind of half of last season thing, it was kind of the puss on the face and, well, we need to get better, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, that's not going to wash forever. But, like, what's happened has happened. And I think Prendergast will probably get it because Munster will cheap out again. But like JR said, your man from Athy, I think maybe there is a case that he was undermined. And I think he might have been undermined by Prendergast because I see nothing great in that Munster attack. I see nothing great in that Munster defence, regardless of Roundtree. And it's their job, you know. I think there could be a case that he was undermined by Prendergast because Prendergast is on talking to Marcus Horn on TG Carr and someone else on RTE and just, oh yeah, we need to do this. And it's just, when you listen to the words people say, it just all sounds hollow. It doesn't, there's no, I'm not looking for passion, but I'm looking for detailed insight. And it's just like, oh, well, we have this and we have this. It seems a bit political when Mike Prendergast talks, you know, and I'm not convinced. But like
the thing about it is though, if I don't know if you've noticed, but neither Pendergast or Leamy were in the coach's box on Saturday. So the good well be
Didn't even notice that.
That's a good point, Richie.
Yeah,
I
neither
didn't
were
know
in the coach's box.
I've a lad in West Clare that seems to get the insight from the rugby clubs. He's a friend of my father, so I actually rang my dad to see if he heard anything before we came on. So I think they're playing golf at the weekend, so I'm sure I'll find out a lot more. Because we'll never hear anything official, like Dara said. We'll never hear anything official, but you know,
no, you won't.
I know what you mean.
Dara Weston, the clubs in Munster know what's going on. But
of course
they
do, yeah, of course. But the wider public will never know. You're right, Dave. Yeah, Dara Weston, any thoughts on that?
I'd just like to say, point of order now. Your man from a Thai rugby club. I think you mean the president of a Thai rugby club.
The president of a Thai rugby club,
not
Ger
Brennan. Your man from a Thai.
The Blazer, Ger Brennan.
Think of what to say and get
with the medallion. With the medallion, Ger Brennan, badge on Blazer. Ger Brennan. There you go. Sorry,
Mr. President. Mr. President, you
thought about kidney make a lot of sense, but you'd wonder, has the provincial setup changed too much since kidney was last in Munster? Will he lack the freedom to a certain extent that he had before? So I don't know on that. I can't see. I don't know if I can see former players like Raj or Paulie taking it, purely because I think they all got a shock when they saw that, there was people calling for Axel's head, before he tragically passed away. I think that kind of gave a lot of the former players a kick up the arse that, Jesus, they don't have God status down there. If you become coach, you're as accountable as anybody else. There's no chance Raj will leave La Rochelle. He's on a winner there at the moment. He's on big money. There's no chance he'll go. I can't see Paulie leaving Ireland, the Irish setup. To go in there as head coach, can't see it. If for nothing else, I'd love to see Felix coming in and making a success of it. Just to have just so that if Leinster and Munster win something, then we can go, it wasn't Razzie at all, it was all his assistant coaches bringing all the success. That'd piss the Saffers off.
I'd be well happy with
but
that.
I can't understand why none of the Munster fans have mentioned Zebo. Zebo's not doing anything at the moment.
Thank God for that.
He never did fucking anything on the pitch either, so just fucking shut up.
Well, that's the perfect man then to go into coaching.
I'd like to pick up on what Dara said, though. It's not like I don't want anyone who's next to be a success. It's just my personal opinion is I don't think Felix Jones is ready for it. I think maybe in a couple of years, but like,
I know. I want whoever takes it over to be a success. Look, it's in the interest. I'm a Leinster fan, but it's in my interest as an Irish fan to see Munster successful as well
for the international team.
Yeah, but
I fucking
as
have
a Leinster fan,
bang on about it for the next
fan,
year
it's in
if you
your
win
interest.
something. But it's I want to see both teams successful. You can have the URC. We'll focus on the fifth star.
No, but it's in your interest as well, as much as Munster's interest to have a good Leinster, because the nemesis, we make each other better by stuff David needed Goliath kind of thing. We need.
Everybody.
Hold on, one voice. Sorry, go on, Richard. Sorry, go on, Richard.
What Dave said is that he's 100% right. You need a stronger team to drive you on, to reach the bigger heights, so to speak. And you can only do that really if you have a tough and hard rivalry. Jared
Gilroy on News Talk, I can't stand the fella, but he made a good point when he was talking to Quinny of everyone kind of fell in love with rugby really. And I'm not saying this because I'm a Munster supporter, but because of the success of Munster in the first couple of years of the 2000s, it kind of brought everyone on board. And then
Quinny's team, O'Gara's team, that team, made people fall in love.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. And it brought the professional rugby game, because Ireland were still shit at the time, into the forefront. And then it made Leinster want to be better. And now that's had a knock on to Ulster and Connacht as well. So we need our teams back at that level, regardless.
All right. Okay. Couple of comments before we move on to the our next issue. We're on approaching 55 minutes. Kieran Ryan, how can any team be expected to perform this weekend? We have 19 players missing between injuries and players away with Ireland. Good point, Kieran. Megan Augusta, Dave is our inside man now for the Goss. All right.
Go away, girl, will you?
There you go.
Yeah, we'll all be contacting you.
Screwed, we can't afford any of the aforementioned, Dara. It'll be Prendergast because he's the cheapest option.
Again.
Okay. Yeah. Again. But yeah, no, I know. I've seen this, yeah. Joe Lyons, lads, Michael Checker will be available in a few months.
Oh, Jesus. Can you imagine?
Right. Okay. Right, let's just park that. We've discussed that. It's been analysed and will continue to be so, Rowntrey's departure online. But unfortunately, we are time constrained here. Okay. Dara Weston, and I'll go around the other way so I don't forget which way I'm going. So I'm going Dara this way with you. Joe Marler was, he temporarily cancelled his Twitter account. He took it down because he got absolutely fucking slated when he tweeted, "Bin the hacker, it's boring," or something, whatever he said. And the backlash was just ferocious. So he took down his Twitter account. But the often controversial rugby journalist who has the very occasionally good article, Stephen Jones, he says, Joe Marler is right. Rugby has indulged the pompous haka for too long. Dara West, any comments on that?
The haka is entertainment. I remember as a kid in Clontarf on the mini rugbies trying to do a haka. I think every small kid playing rugby tries to do a haka. So there is entertainment to it. What I disagree with is World Rugby bringing in rules about the respect you must show the haka. Who was it who led the charge for Ireland against the haka? It was
Willie
one
Anderson.
of the Northern lads.
Willie Anderson.
Yeah.
Willie Anderson.
And Zinzan Brooks said that was one of the best challenge. He loved it. He loved it, having just nose to nose with Willie Anderson. Nowadays, you're not allowed to do that. World Rugby have actually brought in rules and kind of like etiquette around what you can and can't do while the haka is being performed. Now, part of that is because Wales turned their back. You know, people started doing silly fucking mind game things. But at the same time, it's, you know, you can't enforce respect on something. You know, most of the fans want to see it, but at the end of the day, it is a psychological advantage that the Kiwis have. I mean, it gets them riled up and it can put the shits up other teams. So, you know, you can't over officiate how teams react to it. You know, I think that's where I would say I wouldn't condone cancelling it, but I would say that you can't have a prescribed rules of what you can and can't do while the hack is going on.
I would agree with that, but some commentators have said it gives New Zealand an unfair psychological advantage.
Yeah, I mean, but look, I mean, I think a lot of countries have cracked that shell now of how to beat New Zealand. You know, we have. Yeah, it's getting to the stage now where we're kind of like, well, you know, we beat New Zealand. Yeah, we beat them again. So yeah, I mean it does, but look, it's always given them that advantage. You know, it's go okay, probably less so in the days, you know, they were playing Munster and Thomond where it was 15 white lads kind of awkwardly kind of doing this, and you know, now it's a lot more aggressive and, you know, heartfelt, maybe you would say.
Tongues out and tattoos, Dara.
Yeah, but they can't stop it. Because it's been a standing tradition for so long that they can't stop it because the All Blacks will just go, right, well, we're not playing. And then although they need the cash, so they can't really afford to do that. But you know.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Sarah. Dave Sheedy, your thoughts on that comment by Joe Marler and subsequently backed up by the often criticised journal Steve Jones?
Well, let's be honest. The two of them are fucking idiots. Marler's always been an idiot, and Stephen Jones. The fact that you refer to him as a rugby columnist makes me sick. Like he is a
you know who I'm talking about.
idiot,
You know who I'm
man.
talking about.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking
Listen,
about.
I know, yeah.
Dave, Peter probably run into him in the press box at one of the games. He has to
Yeah, well,
be
I tell
careful
you
what
what,
he says about him.
Peter, I'll give you €100 to fucking give him the back of the hand. He's an idiot, man. Look, one of the most proudest moments of my life as a Munster supporter was sitting up in my rugby club in St. Mary's because I couldn't get tickets to 2008. And there was rumor that something was going to happen. And when the 4 lads walked out and did their haka for Munster, I cried like a bloody child. And I've no problem saying it. It was one of the proudest moments as a Munster supporter I ever had. And I loved every minute of it. And I even loved the silence for the New Zealand haka, which one, I actually read an article from a Kiwi journalist that said he's never heard that in his life. The only thing that broke the silence was a dog barking back in the housing estate in Thomond Park. I think the haka is one of the greatest traditions in the game. I think it's absolutely amazing. What I don't agree with is what Dara's saying, is that you can't challenge it. Like, look, when the French walked up in the V, I mean, I'm not a French or a Kiwi fan, but my blood was boiling. I was like, go on, kill him. That's what we want as rugby fans. We want a challenge. So you're a challenge.
You're agreeing with Dara. You're not disagreeing.
Yeah,
I
know. I 100% because it's the fact that the IRB or whatever the hell they're called now has stopped people from challenging it. I mean, that's completely wrong. That's the only reason they have a psychological advantage. If people could walk up like Shabal and all these years ago, get in their faces, like Buck Shelford said, it's great because the challenge against the challenge, and that's what we need. It would really get the fans going, like, you know, it got me going. Just, you know, I think it's brilliant.
I've seen the haka live 2, 3 times, 4 times, whatever it was. It gets the crowd going as well.
Next weekend will only be my second time seeing the haka. My first time was the Crusaders. What?
Oh, very good. Okay, right. Hold on, Mike.
It gives me a big semi, Dara. Big semi.
Yeah, all right. Okay, right. I don't really. Yeah, all right.
Just said semi. That's like we don't need to hear all the details.
Hey, you brought it up, lad.
I was waiting for the tangent to go down the fucking that route. Right. Okay, Mike Reedy. One sec before I come to you. James Eric says, "I love to see the haka, but respect is earned." Okay, thanks, James. Kieran Ryan, I'm heading to Thomond Saturday, and I hope the Munster supporters will respect the haka, one of the greatest traditions in world rugby. I think we're kind of all agreeing with you, Kieran. It's the challenge to it that is being questioned. Gregor Galway. Gregor, I love the haka. All right. Skaroo Two-Tone. One last point on the Rowntree Munster saga. Thorny echoed a point I made on the group regarding the AIL. We pointed out that Munster cannot compete with the Leinster school system because millions is pumped into it across professional coaching and facilities. Munster need to go back to their roots and concentrate on nurturing and recruiting from the AIL.
I've been saying that for a long time.
Yeah. Megan Augusta is lolling at something. I don't know what that is. Jared Brennan, El Presidente. Let them have their haka in New Zealand like the South African Warriors dance before SA games, but not players. Let it be performers. That's not a bad point, Jared, actually. Yeah, that's not a bad point, yeah. Right. Mike Reedy, your thoughts on this whole Marler saying bin the haka, Stephen Jones agreeing with him. Stephen Jones calling it pompous, Mike.
No, I kind of like Joe Marler, but Stephen Jones, I couldn't take anything he has to say seriously. I think he's the most obnoxious, it's like fucking narcissistic clown that's ever commented with anything to do with rugby. As regards to haka itself, lads, it's part of the tradition of rugby going back as long as I go back a long time. My memories go back a long time in rugby, and I've seen New Zealand play on many occasions. And the haka has always been part. I do agree with what both of the lads said. To take away the actual challenge, that's always been part of the tradition of the haka. They're laying down a challenge, and it's up to you to respond to that challenge. And now that's been taken away. That's wrong. That's completely wrong. Like World Rugby are like, honest to God, Bill Bowman. If you have anything to do with any of these decisions that have been made in the last fucking couple of years, go already, because you're an embarrassment to the world of rugby itself. No, it's.
Would you agree, Mike, with the point that Dara and Dave said and agreed with, that it should be allowed to be challenged?
Absolutely, it should be allowed to be challenged. That was the whole point of it. The haka is laying down the challenge prior to the game, and how you respond to it then by beating the challenge. And it was always accepted. New Zealand want that challenge to be accepted, and the response to be made. I mean, the Irish team had a response after the passing of
Axel Foley.
Axel Foley, like by the figure eight in Chicago, and that's still gone down as one of the greatest responses to it.
Yes,
and I remember the one that I was talking about, Willie Anderson, and they do. The All Blacks, if they're just being given a license now to go out and perform their haka, and it does get players going. By the way, it gets their players going prior to a game. They're not having success from it. By the way, maybe that's why they don't want the fucking they don't want it. They want the challenge to be accepted, because their success is fucking diminished somewhat.
Good point, Mike. Good point. Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
The other thing is, I mean, the tradition part of it, the haka keeps changing every couple of years. There's different versions of it.
But they have 4 different versions.
Yeah.
It's like the fucking Macarena. There's different versions of it.
No, but lads, if you know Kiwis, they can make a haka for Everton, you know.
Yeah, true. Okay, gentlemen, we'll finish this particular point and then we fly to our last one. Richard Holland, your views on the haka. Should it allowed to be challenged, and is it still relevant?
I agree with it. I like it. It is part of the pomp and ceremony of the whole game. But yeah, if a team finds a way to challenge it, they should be allowed to do so. Be that walking up and getting into their face, or I remember there was one occasion, New Zealand were playing Wales. Gatlin was still in charge, and the Welsh players refused to break. You have to break first before the New Zealand lads, and the Welsh players wouldn't break.
Yeah,
that was a great response. Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
And that was one of the rules, like, you have to break before them. No, why? They've done their dance. Why do you have to break before them? You don't.
Yeah.
No, that's right. It is. Yeah, but this was Gatlin's point, that he told his players not to break. That New Zealand had to break first.
Yeah, true. Okay, we're over time as always, but we'll have one more topic that we just want to talk about. Just a comment there from Screwed. Marler is a clown in a funny buffoon type of character. Jones is a clown as he's a fucking tool sort of character.
Marler was just looking to wind people up, that's all. But Jones
that's all he was doing, yeah.
Len is spot on there. He's spot on.
Yes.
Len, you know what these lads with press credentials are like,
they're just shocking. Right, gentlemen, we'll end on this one because we're at 107. Don't as I always say, bore the fucking knickers off people. The IRFU and the French Rugby Union have come out against. They will not be supporting. They will not be promoting the 20-minute red card. Richard, is that now the end of this fucking fiasco?
I sincerely hope so. As far as I know, all the rugby unions had to agree to it before this came into law. So with the two of them going against it, you'd imagine it's dead in the water.
Right. Okay. Mike Grady, your thoughts on that?
Well, I didn't know that was the case, Richard, what you just said there. And if it is, then
I could be wrong.
So
I could be wrong on that.
I hope. No,
Richard, you're right. You're right, Richard. You're right.
I've actually seen something just this week that there is still a red card for serious foul play during the course of a game. Now, if that hasn't happened on the trials in the Southern Hemisphere Super Rugby, or whatever you call it, their competition, the Southern Hemisphere international competition, it hasn't happened on that. I haven't seen a red card, but a referee still has the right to give a red card that remains a red card if there is serious foul play. I would have known if that was the case. I would be willing to listen to, but under the guise that a 20-minute red card is you're allowed to bring somebody back on in any circumstances is unacceptable. It completely decries the like the safety of players and player welfare. And I hope it's dead in the water, to be honest with you. It's fucking nonsense.
It is nonsense. It's very obviously a very contentious issue. Dave Sheedy, the fact that two of the biggest unions in world rugby, the Irish and the French, have come out and said no, thank you, to the 20-minute red card. Is that it done now?
Hopefully, because it's the biggest load of bollocks going, you know. But I mean, if the French didn't speak out against it, you know, I don't think the IRFU has as much pull as in World Rugby as France does, or you know.
Oh, I don't know about that, Dave. I don't.
Yeah, but I think it was. I think it was good that France came out strong against it. So look, 20-minute red card's a load of bollocks. Now back to the bullshit with the Munster branch. Let me tell you, I'm joking. It's a load of bollocks. I know. End of story.
Go on. Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Richard. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Dara West.
The Joe Marler fucking.
Is this the final nail in the coffin for this fucking fiasco that no one in rugby wants to see?
Hopefully so, but there'll probably be some obscure thing like it'll still apply in semi-finals and finals of the World Cup if South Africa or New Zealand are playing, or Sam Cane is playing. Because that's what it was designed for originally anyway. That's why the whole fucking thing came out about it. You know, the All Blacks got a player sent off in the finals. It's not fair we have to play with 14 players. That's the only reason we lost. Yeah, look, if there, you know, you can't be serious about player safety and then say, yeah, but a red card you can scold. And let's face it, we saw it in the World Cup with the bunker and all this. If the referee has a choice of giving a half red or a full red, he'll take the half red and let somebody else make the decision on whether it's a full red or not. You know, why would you blame the referee?
Should we get rid of the bunker, lads?
Oh, totally. You know, it should be just the referee making decisions and then maybe the TMO coming in his ear, talking in his ear. If you know, he misses.
I was going to say something rude. I was about to say giggity.
But like I mean, that's all. It's the ref's job to see what's on the pitch, and you know, if you're skilled enough, you can get away with something without the ref seeing it. Then you know the TMO should be picking that up.
All right,
but yeah,
fair enough.
Bunkers, orange cards, no, fuck them all.
All right, grand job. We will end on two comments.
My greedy language.
Work away. Well, fuck that shit. James, Eric, the response to the hacker gives opposing teams, endless opportunities. And from the same person, James, Eric again, 20-minute red card. What a load of shit. Okay. Right, gentlemen, that is all we have time for. We have gone way over time per usual. My thank you to you all for commenting, for taking part, for watching, and also my guests, fellow admins and friends on here. We have Richard Holland, we have Mike Reedy, we have Dave Sheedy, we have Dara Weston. Gentlemen, thank you all. We will do it again next week, and enjoy the rest of your evening, and thank you.
Good luck.
All the best, boy. Take care. Thanks very much for everybody for watching.
Who did he mean when he said